All right, we're going to start talking about priorities. Brian Merrick, I'm going to ask you first. I know there's a lot of things in the job drawer you got to work on. Always like to get an understanding of the top two or three priorities that you all are focused on in 2025.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, everything we've been talking about so far. Also, kind of along the lines of identity, it's been a real challenge for us. And I know there's been some talk earlier in the conversation about hybrid, and that's a real challenge, right? We're kind of getting to that tipping point where modern tools that we're integrating are having a real challenge. When we integrate them with a complex on-prem environment, there are a lot of unintended second, third order effects when there's a configuration in one tool that impacts another. We've seen that really manifest itself within our existing collaboration platform. We have a hybrid environment with that, right? So we have underlying on-prem data stores that have to interact with cloud collaboration pieces and other things. So one of the things we're focused on right now is trying to integrate that collaboration platform with our actual main cloud-based identity solution. So by doing that, we're going to be able to then remove a lot of those dependencies to our old on-prem identity stores, which is just creating incredible complexity. Every time somebody moves in a different organization, or we're standing up a task force or working group, it creates a lot of chaos as we try to align the user with the correct information. In these different environments, since we have a multi-domain environment. So we're in train with that now. We've actually got one component already piloting successfully, which is great. And it's also going to give us a lot more flexibility when we need to provide multi-factor authentication for folks in different modalities. It's also going to help us in terms of making sure that we have a more streamlined identity process, which has been a real headache lately. We're anticipating finishing that actually in Q3 this year. So that's something that we're extremely excited about. Everybody's on board with that. All the components are very excited about as well, because it'll reduce complexity and workload for their service desks. We probably get 10, 20 requests around identity a week, and that just for our shop, and it certainly expands beyond that throughout the components. So that's a big one. Some of the other things that we've got cooking, we've got a lot of enterprise license agreements going for, we do a lot of litigation support. And some of the challenges we've got there are really around how we process large amounts of data and can afford to do that. There are great SaaS solutions out there. The problem is the cost of churning through that much data. So one of the things that we started, we're actually doing a commercial co-location. And so our thought is we want to experiment with cross-connecting from on-prem data in that location directly to cloud providers that are inside the environment. So that means we don't have to leave the environment. We don't have to tick the data. It's going to save a lot of money, and we can actually get faster processing times. So that's something we're hoping to pilot later this year if possible. We're just now getting the components stood up this month in that environment and going into production. So as we're moving from some of our old antiquated data centers. And then, so that's a couple of those other larger things. As we move forward, there's also, going to be quite a few other pieces that we try to dive into. But I think if we can get the identity piece sorted out, we've also, like I say, we've got our cloud underlayment platform set. We can start doing a better job at processing large amounts of data more affordably. I think we're going to be positioned for greater success as we move into a lot more programmatic changes that we're anticipating just around the need for greater efficiency. So I think we're in good shape there, but definitely a lot going on this year, a lot we're going to continue to do in cloud and certainly on the data side.